Welcome to another deep dive today.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at AIHR's 11 HR Trends for 2025 report.
Yeah.
And this is, I have to say, a really uh, a really interesting one.
Right.
It really does feel like a wake-up call for a lot of people in the HR world.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely not sugarcoating anything.
Right.
It's very direct.
Yeah.
It identifies three major themes that they see shaping the future of work.
Okay.
So the first is this whole idea of technological transformation.
Yeah.
The second is all of the shifting talent dynamics.
Right.
And then, of course, the third one is the tactics that organizations are going to need to employ to thrive.
Yeah.
Not just survive.
And not just survive.
But really thrive.
Right.
In this new environment.
Okay, so let's jump into that first one, though.
Sure.
This idea of the technological transformation.
Mm-hmm.
That's really where AI comes in, doesn't it?
It does.
It's the 800-pound gorilla in the room.
It is.
You can't really avoid it.
And they lead off with that, right? Their first trend that they identify is this tension between AI adoption and adaptation.
Right.
So they acknowledge that AI has incredible potential, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen that study from BCG where consultants using ChatGPT saw like a 40% boost in quality.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
you have all this anxiety
Right.
from employees
Sure.
who are worried about their jobs,
Yeah.
right? Are they going to be replaced by algorithms?
They're going to be left behind.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because the report points out that people aren't just sitting around waiting, right?
Yeah.
They're bringing their own AI tools to work.
Right.
It's this BYOAI phenomenon.
It is.
It's like 78% of knowledge workers
wow.
are already using some sort of AI tool at work.
So then how do we deal with that as an organization?
Right.
Do we try to control it?
Right.
Do we try to embrace it?
Exactly.
What's the approach there?
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
But I think the report leans towards embracing it,
Right.
providing guidance, training, a clear AI strategy from the organization.
Yeah.
You can't just ignore it. It's not going to go away.
Okay, so speaking of stepping up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The next thing they talk about is the role of HR in all of this. And specifically, they have a trend called AI in HR, overhyped or underestimated.
Right.
And I think there's a real disconnect here
I think there is too.
because HR is being tasked with leading this AI transformation,
Yeah.
but they're lagging behind in adoption themselves.
On their own adoption.
Only 12%
Mhm.
are using generative AI
Right.
compared to, for instance, like 34% of marketing departments.
Yeah. It's much lower.
So how do we bridge that gap?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Because you're asking HR to be the one to shepherd the organization through it,
Yeah. To lead the charge.
but they haven't really fully embraced it themselves.
Yeah. And the report calls that out.
Yeah.
They say it's a missed opportunity
Right.
for HR to really show the value of AI.
And lead by example.
Okay, so lead by example.
Yeah.
Now, this skills gap, though,
Mm-hmm.
this has been talked about a lot.
It has.
It feels like we've been talking about this for years.
For years.
But they're saying it's reaching a tipping point
Yeah.
for the skills mismatch.
Because the reality is that technology is evolving so quickly.
Right.
And it's automating and augmenting jobs, but a lot of organizations are struggling to even identify the skills they're going to need, let alone actually develop them.
So they say that like 44% of workers' skills
Yeah.
will be disrupted by 2030.
So what's the answer there?
Yeah. What do we do?
More training.
I was going to say, is it just training?
It's more than that, right?
Okay.
They advocate for a truly skills-based approach.
Okay.
And they say leverage AI,
Ironically.
right,
Yeah.
to map the skills,
Okay.
to identify the gaps,
Mhm.
and then prioritize training investments.
So it's strategic.
Right.
It's not just like throwing training at the problem.
It's not just a Band-Aid solution.
It's really like analyzing what are the actual needs.
Yeah, the real needs.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so this next one really was interesting to me because
Yeah.
it's not something you hear talked about a lot.
Right.
Blue-collar and new-collar jobs bloom.
Yeah, it kind of flies in the face of
Yeah.
conventional wisdom.
Everyone's talking about tech,
Yeah,
but they're saying something else is happening here.
they are.
So tell me about that. What's going on?
Well, we've been so focused on this idea of robots taking over jobs,
Yeah.
but there's actually been a resurgence in interest in blue-collar jobs,
Oh, really?
particularly among Gen Z.
Interesting.
These are jobs that are more stable.
Okay.
They pay well.
Yeah.
Often you can learn a trade.
That makes sense, especially with all the tech layoffs we've seen recently
Right.
and the market volatility.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, okay, maybe a hands-on job is starting to look a lot more appealing. And they mentioned that while tech sector jobs were being cut, manufacturing jobs were actually up 46%.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Big difference.
And then what are these new-collar jobs they're talking about?
So these are roles that require some more advanced skills, right? Like in AI, cybersecurity,
Hmm.
but they don't necessarily require the traditional 4-year degree.
Okay, so it's like a blending of the lines.
It is. It's a blurring of the lines.
Yeah.
We need to recognize that skills and experience come from a wider range of places.
And value all of it, right?
Value all of it, exactly.
Not just the traditional white-collar versus blue-collar.
Right. That's becoming obsolete.
Okay, so we've talked about technology.
Yes.
And this kind of shift that's happening there.
Mm-hmm.
But the people side of it is just as important, right?
Absolutely.
The changing demographics of the workforce.
Yeah, that's where we're going next.
Okay.
We'll get into that in part 2.
Okay, great.
All right. So, welcome back to our deep dive into the future of work.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time talking about AI and technology.
Absolutely. And now it's time to shift gears a bit.
Yeah, let's talk about people.
Yeah, the human side of the equation.
All the changing demographics, the evolving expectations of the workforce.
Right, because all of that is changing too.
It is. And one of the most striking trends I saw in this report was this idea of the silver worker,
Oh yeah, Trend 5.
the golden age of the silver worker,
That's right.
saying that the over 75s are the fastest growing segment of the workforce.
It's a pretty remarkable statistic when you think about it.
It is. It really challenges that traditional idea of retirement, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, people are living longer.
Right.
They're healthier.
They're not ready to just stop working at 65.
Exactly. And plus, a lot of people need to keep working.
Or want to.
Or want to, yeah.
For financial reasons.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about staying active, it's sometimes an economic necessity.
Right. And the report emphasizes that organizations need to adapt to this.
Okay, so how do they do that? What does that look like?
Well, it's not just about making accommodations.
Right.
It's about recognizing the value that these older workers bring.
Yeah, the experience.
The wisdom, a different perspective.
I mean, they debunk this myth
Right.
that older workers are less productive.
They do. And research actually shows that diverse teams, and that includes age diversity, outperform teams that aren't diverse.
So it's not just about being inclusive, it's actually a smart business move.
Absolutely.
To have that mix of experience.
It is. And they have some good examples in the report, too.
Okay.
Like Nike, they rehired this retired executive to help them navigate the changing retail landscape
Interesting.
because they realized that his experience and understanding of the company was invaluable.
Okay, so let's talk about another demographic shift, though.
Okay.
Trend 6, the women's equity effect,
Yeah,
which is a bit sobering when you read it,
it is.
because despite all the progress we've made, there are still so many challenges that women face in the workplace.
It's a complex issue, and the report doesn't shy away from that.
No, it doesn't. They say closing the gender equity gap would significantly boost global GDP.
Right. And yet, women are still dramatically underrepresented in leadership positions.
Only 10% of Fortune 500 CEOs are women.
It's a stark reminder of how much work we still have to do.
It is. And they talk about the need to address structural barriers.
Right. Things that prevent women from advancing.
Like inflexible work practices.
Lack of affordable childcare.
A culture that often undervalues women's contributions.
Exactly. And the report also touches on the importance of addressing things like menstrual and menopausal health.
Which are often ignored.
Stigmatized, yeah.
It's about creating an environment where women feel truly supported.
Supported and empowered, yeah.
And that's not just the right thing to do, it's good for business too.
Right, because studies show that companies with more gender diversity perform better financially.
Okay, so it's a win-win for everyone.
It is.
Now, with all these changes happening, it's not surprising that the report talks about anxiety in the workplace.
Right. Trend 7, looming organizational anxiety.
I mean, there's so much uncertainty right now, isn't
There
there?
is. Economic volatility, technology disruption, global pandemics.
It takes a toll.
It does.
And we saw this shift, right? From the Great Resignation,
Yeah.
where people were leaving their jobs in droves.
To the big stay.
Yeah, where people are holding on to their jobs out of fear,
Yeah, not necessarily loyalty.
which creates this underlying current of anxiety.
It does.
And they talk about this performance paradox,
Yeah.
where employees feel pressure to appear busy even if they're not being productive.
Right, because they're afraid to take risks.
They don't want to speak up.
Right, because they think they might be expendable.
So it's this vicious cycle.
It is.
Fear leads to disengagement, which leads to lower productivity.
And then more fear.
So what can organizations do to break that cycle?
Well, they need to create a culture of psychological safety.
Okay, so people feel comfortable speaking up,
Right.
sharing their concerns,
Exactly.
without fear of reprisal.
And they need to provide support.
Okay, things like access to mental health services,
Yeah, flexible work arrangements.
clear communication from leadership,
It all comes down to creating an environment where employees feel valued,
and supported.
supported,
Because when they do, they're going to be more engaged,
more productive.
more likely to contribute to the success of the organization.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the tech disruptions, the shifting demographics, the anxieties that people are facing.
Right. It paints a pretty complex picture of the future of work.
It does. But the report doesn't just leave us hanging there, does it?
No, it doesn't. They actually dive into some of the tactics that organizations can use to thrive in this new world of work.
And that's what we'll talk about in part 3.
That's where we're headed next.
We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? AI, changing demographics, anxiety in the workplace.
We have. It's a pretty complex picture.
It is.
But the big question is, how do organizations actually thrive amidst all this change?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
Where do we even begin?
Well, the report offers some insights, and they start with a point that might surprise some people.
Okay.
Trend 8, HR execution is king.
Okay, so it's not enough to just have these big strategic plans.
Exactly. It's the day-to-day execution that really matters.
It's like having a blueprint for a beautiful house, but not knowing how to actually build it.
That's a great analogy.
You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you can't execute them, they're useless.
And they use a pretty stark example in the report,
Oh, no.
Uber,
Okay.
their failure to address those sexual harassment claims.
Yeah, that was a big one.
It shows how a lack of follow-through can have disastrous consequences.
Actions speak louder than words.
Absolutely, especially in HR.
So how do we make sure HR execution is top-notch then?
Well, the report emphasizes empowering those tactical HR teams.
Okay.
Give them the resources they need, the staffing, the technology.
So they can actually implement the strategies.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing that HR isn't just an administrative function,
Right. They play a crucial role.
which leads us to trend 9, the embedded HR professional.
Yeah, this one challenges that traditional view of HR as a separate advisory function.
So not just sitting in an office somewhere.
Not at all. They need to be integrated within the business units they support.
Okay, so understanding the specific challenges each team is facing.
Exactly. They need to be able to speak the language of the business.
And the report mentions that 93% of CHROs are now attending board meetings regularly.
Which shows how their influence is growing.
It does. It's a big shift.
It is.
But what about the individual employee in all of this?
Right. With all this change, how do they thrive?
That's where trend 10 comes in,
The anti-fragile worker.
which is a fascinating concept.
It is. It goes beyond resilience.
Okay, so resilience is about bouncing back, but anti-fragility is about...
It getting stronger because of challenges.
Yeah. Wow, okay, so not just weathering the storm, but actually using it to your advantage.
Exactly.
But the report also points out that over 40% of people are feeling burned out.
Yeah, clearly the traditional approach to well-being isn't working.
It's not.
We need to build a workforce that can thrive in the face of disruption.
So how do we cultivate that anti-fragility? Can you teach it?
Well, the report emphasizes a growth mindset,
Okay.
continuous learning, a culture that embraces risk-taking.
So it's about shifting from a fear of failure to a culture of learning.
Exactly.
And then finally, trend 11 brings us full circle.
Employee engagement 2.0.
Because after all these years, it feels like we're still struggling with engagement, aren't we?
We are. All the ping pong tables and free snacks in the world haven't really moved the needle.
They haven't.
Engagement is still stagnant at around 23% globally.
So what are we missing? What are employees looking for?
They want something deeper, something more meaningful.
Okay, like what?
Authenticity, transparency. They want to know their work has a purpose.
They want to feel valued.
Exactly. They want to be part of something bigger than themselves.
So it's about creating that connection to something larger.
It is a shared purpose.
It's not just about perks and benefits anymore.
Right. It's about building a culture of trust and respect.
Well, this deep dive has been incredibly insightful.
It's been a good one.
If you had to leave our listeners with one key takeaway, what would it be?
I'd say that the future of work is human.
What do you mean by that?
Technology is transforming everything, yes, but it's people who drive innovation, who create culture.
At the end of the day, it's about people.
It is.
By focusing on that human element,
Yeah, prioritizing well-being and growth and purpose.
we can create a future of work that's not just productive, but also fulfilling.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for guiding us through this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure.
I think everyone listening has a lot to think about now.
I hope so.